So now we're going to have a look at this pulley and shaft assembly here. So I'm going to start off with drawing this pulley, and then we'll draw the shaft and the keyway, and then we'll go assemble them, and then we'll do exploded view. So it's going to be a reasonably long video. So let's start off with the pulley here. So I'll flick down to that drawing, and I'll go for a new standard millimeter part. Start a sketch on our XY plane here. And what I'm going to do for this one is I'm going to draw a quarter of this pattern, because I'm going to revolve it and then mirror it, and then I'm going to put these holes on it. So we'll come over here and we'll just draw the shape. So I'll start in the origin point, I'll come out here, and I'm just going to guess at the size for this moment. Just roughly try and draw out that same shape that we've got. Now the first thing I'm going to do is just give it a dimension overall. So we've got 100 diameter. So what I can do in here is I can just type in 100 divided by 2, and I can just use all the diameters. Just type in the equation there if I want. So that's going to size the overall thing. It's about to the right size, and then we've got to proportion all the rest of it out. So the web part here is 10 mil wide, so we can just go 5 over here, and we've got a 17.7 from that point to that point, so I'll just use the 17.7 divided by 2 for that one. That's that. You can see the line's gone a bit funny up here, but that's okay. We can drag that back in. And let's have a look here. We've got a 40 degrees, so if we go 20 degrees from straight up and down, that's another one we can do. So half of 40, we'll do 20. Let's come back here again. To the edge of that bit, we've got 70 diameter, so that's going to be 35. Then the inside of this part here, 50, so we're going to have 25 there. What's next? We've got an overall of 25. So I'll just type in 12.5 for that one. It's gone a bit funny again, so I just need to drag this line back over the correct side like that. And we're almost there. We've got, let's look at this here. So that 10 is for the web there. So we've actually got a depth of this pulley, which is, so it comes to 78 to the bottom of the groove there. So let's go 78 divided by 2. And now we just need a measurement on the inside of this part here. So we're going to go for 17 divided by 2. So that's our pulley drawn out there. That dimension isn't on this drawing. I just forgot to add it, so I just checked it. But so that's 17 between the pulleys, between the two edges there. So let's go finish. And we're going to go up to here to revolve. It's picked up on that shape, so now we just need to select the axis of it. So we're going to do this bottom edge here. And there we go, so we've got one half of the pulley now. Now I'm just going to turn this around, and I'm going to come up here to mirror, and I'm going to click on that, come over to mirror plane, and click on this bit, and go OK. So that's the main body of our pulley here. While I'm here, I might change the material to aluminium. So it says 6065 aluminium on the drawing. Let's see if we can find that. So we can't, so we'll just go 6061. It'll be the same density anyway. Let's go put these holes in the center. So I'll start a sketch on this one. And we've got a 12mm hole in the center. And we've got 8mm holes times 6. So that's 60 degrees off the flat. Also got a keyway, got it cut in there. So I'll come in and I'll start with just putting the circles in where I need them. So I'll put that as 12. What I'll do is I'll do a construction line, and I'll do a circle in the construction line and make a PCD, which is going to be 15.5 radius, so that means it's going to be 31 PCD. And we'll put our circles around the outside here, so go circle, take the construction line off. I'm just going to go horizontal to that one, and those are 8mm holes. You can see it's still blue, so it needs to know something. It's not quite sure, and it hasn't picked up. I want it to be horizontal to that. So let's put that constraint in now. There we go. Now we can make a circular pattern of those. So there's 6 holes over the 360 degrees. A circular, click that. For the axes, click the center of the circle. And it's already picked up on 6 from that. So then we just go OK. And we've got a bit of a keyway to cut in there as well. So that comes up 7.9 from the center, and it's 4mm wide. So I'll put that in there as well. I'll just roughly draw that in for a start. I'm going to align this top bit with this hole here. So let's go vertical. That point there to that point there. Let's dimension that is 4. And from here to the center was 7.9. And I can trim that circle, and there's our pattern. So I'll just go finish sketch, and I'll go extrude, and I'll click on all those bits I want to cut out. You see they're pulling out forwards at the moment, but I'll just go over this option cut and go OK. So that's our pulley drawn up, so let's save that part. Save that as the pulley. There's one part there. Let's close that, and we'll do the same again. We'll go for file new, standard millimeter, and now I'm going to draw the shaft, and then we'll draw the keyway. So the shaft, we've got the drawing here. The shaft is 5 mm. got 17mm to start with, so there's a few ways we could do this. We could do the profile and revolve it. The way I'm going to do, I'm just going to draw a circle, extrude it, draw another circle, extrude it, and do that enough times till we've got the profile of it there, and then I'm going to put a couple chamfers, a thread on it, and then cut this keyway here. So let's start with doing a 17mm circle. So I'll go start sketch on here again, and 17, finish, extrude, and this segment is 50mm long, so let's go 50. Now I'm going to start a sketch on this part here, and I'm going to project the geometry just so it picks up on the outside there, and we want to be radius of 6, so you can see it's dimensioned on this side for this part. That's because if you look closely here, there's actually a bit of a funny line. That's because the keyway's cut in the top. So that's 12mm diameter, and that's going to go from 50 to 60, so that's 10mm long. So let's do this one, 12mm diameter, 10mm long there. Go back to the drawing again. 8mm diameter, 60 to 62, so that's 2mm long. So same again. Back to the drawing, and M10 by 1.5, so that goes from 62 to 72. So we'll do a 10mm circle and do it 10mm long. And you'll notice here it's got a bit of a chamfer on the thread, so that's pretty normal for a thread to kind of start off on a chamfer just for locating it there. And this bit's actually a little bit of a release for the end of the thread, so if you've threaded the nut on, usually you typically do a bit of a groove here in the shaft so that the nut can come past the end, because you won't be able to thread it all the way to that shoulder. So there's just a bit of a relief here so you can thread it all the way down. So let's go back in here, M10 by 1.5, we'll do that now. So we've got this feature here, thread, and you can select the surface, and it should pick up on the fact that it's 10mm, and it's 10 by 1.5, so let's just go OK. So if you draw that to the size of the thread you want, it usually picks up on the standard metric one for it. And let's just do a bit of a chamfer here and here, just to get the thread on a bit easier. So 2mm is obviously too big, so let's see what 1mm looks like. It's probably a bit big as well. And that will do it. We've got 0.5, that'll be fine, just to give it a bit of a lead in there. Next thing we want to do is this keyway. So if we have a look, it is in line with this diameter here. So we can do a plane up 4mm to be in line with that one, and then we can draw the shape on it and cut it off. So let's come over here, let's do a plane offset from plane. Let's expand these ones, and since I'm in this view, I'm just going to go from that one 4mm, start a sketch on that one there, and you can see it's sort of cut through the top of it. So I'm just going to go right click, slice the graphics, and that's going to give me that shape, well, where exactly that plane is from there. So let's draw the shape. So it's a 4mm keyway. So I'm just going to draw a line here, curve it round, come back and across like this. And I can position this horizontally with the middle of the part. So let's go back to the origin here. Nope, so it's actually turned around 90 degrees when I've done this. So let's do vertical instead. Let's go there to there. So now it's positioned this way correctly. And we want to dimension this point here to here. So that's going to have to be a 2mm off that edge. It's a 4mm diameter, so it's going to be a 2mm radius. And we should just be able to go from here to here, 4mm. So I haven't allowed any tolerance for this part. I haven't made it any bigger for the keyway, so it's just because it's an exercise here, so you'd have to allow a little bit extra. So now I've just gone to extrude, it's picked up on that. We want to cut that off, and then it's going to go back down inside of it, but we don't want to cut it that way, so we want to go up like that and go OK. So here's our keyway in our shaft now. So our shaft is finished. Let's turn that work plane off. And the material for the shaft, I've just got mild steel, so let's drop down here. So now that's our shaft done. So let's save that. And we'll close that. And now let's just draw our keyway. So we're going to go new standard millimeter. We'll go start sketch, and we've got a 4x4 keyway 8mm long. So let's just draw a 2-point center rectangle here. And 4, tab 4, finish sketch, extrude that 8mm. So the material for this one would in reality be key steel, but I don't think that's an option here, so we'll just put it as steel mild. So key steel is a specific type of steel that they use for keyways that you buy in, and it's cut to size, and you just chop it into the length you want. So let's save that as the keyway. Alright, so now we've got all the parts we need. We're going to have to put them together in an assembly. So come over here, go File, New, Standard Millimeter, and we'll go Place, find our folder, and I'm going to start off with the shaft because everything's basically attached to the shaft. So I'll just drop that in there for a start. And see how the keyway's reasonably difficult to see. So first thing I usually do in assembly mode is come to View and change that to shaded with edges. Just makes it a bit easier to see what's happening. Now let's expand under here for our origin planes, and I'm just going to match them with the origin planes of the assembly space. So you can see this is the assembly space planes are slightly in a different space to the planes on the part here. So we'll go over here to assemble, constrain, and I usually just do flush constraint, and I do 1 to 1, and I just keep them the same as the origin space. There is a option to ground something when you bring it in, so you don't have to go that step, but the problem with that is it grounds it wherever you place it, so the planes don't align with the assembly space planes, which can cause you a bit of trouble when you're putting things together a bit later on. So it's better to make sure they align properly like that. So there's our shaft in there. Let's go and place our keyway. So we might as well do this in an order that we can see it. And all I'm going to do here is constrain it. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to constrain it by the plane to get it centralized this way. So let's go to constrain and we'll get the plane that's shooting through the middle of that one, and then we'll just hover over that and do the same there. So let's put it at the end now, but we can still see it. Grab it and it should line up in the center. Now that I've got it constrained this way, I can't really rotate it. It's going to stay up that way. So if I want to join that surface to the bottom surface, I'm going to have to rotate the view a little bit. And I want to make sure I'm on mate for that one. So I'm going to mate that surface to that surface there. Go apply, roll back around. Now I want to make sure that and that are flush to each other. Let's go flush and flush, apply, and we can close out of that. And you see it sits in there, just butts up to the end of that radius there. So sometimes keyways you'll radius the ends of them. I just haven't done it on this drawing. So they sometimes will have radius and they'll butt right up to the edge of that. But just an example again. So let's place our pulley now. And we'll just drop that here. So the first thing I'm going to do with the pulley is I'm going to constrain it so that the keyway and this are aligned. And I'm going to do that with the origin planes on this one. So we'll go constrain. And I'm just keeping to the assembly ones. That's why it's handy to have them all to match. And I'll pick the two planes that are going the way I want. Now I can't actually see what way it's gone. So if I turned it around, I can see, yep, the keyway is up the right way. So now that's constrained along that plane, still go up and down. Easiest way to deal with that is to constrain it to the axis to axis, apply, and let's drag this out, and I'm just going to constrain the face to the back face of this, that face there to that face there, apply. Now the next thing I'm going to do is we're going to get a washer put on there. So we've got on the drawing here, it is a AS1237 10mm washer. So let's look at the drawing here. 1237 10mm washer. So I'm going to go place, but this time I'm going to go place from content center. And let's look in fasteners, washers, plain washers. And we'll just go for the first option here, AS1237. And I'll click on that, so it's going to know it's a 10mm diameter. And I'll click on that surface there, so it's going to place it against that surface. So now we have a washer. And Next thing we need is a nut, so let's go back, place from content center again, make sure we're on that option. Let's go nuts, hex nut, and we've got an ANSI nut here, so let's find that option, which is just the first one again. Let's click on that diameter, so it knows it's going on 10 mil, and click on the face of that washer, and it's going to drop it on the face of that washer. And we've got a couple options here, so we'll just go with the first one. So that's our assembly there. One thing can be helpful with this is to make sure you have your home in the right orientation. So I'm happy with that actually, so I can leave that, but if you weren't, you can rotate it around and then come over here and set your current view as home. So let's save this assembly now. Now we've got our assembly saved. Let's close out of that, and we're going to go to File, New, IP in. So we're going to do our exploded view here. And now we need to look through, find the assembly we want to do the exploded view of. So I've got one saved in here, and here. Open that up. Now it's in the orientation I want it, so that's good. I will come over here to view and shade it with edges again. Yeah, I'm going to grab the parts, pull them away from the shaft, then away from each other. So let's go to presentation and we'll go tweak. And if I hold shift, I can grab 1, 2, 3 things. See these arrows have come up. They're based about the orientation of the first thing I grabbed. I drag all of these just so I can see the end of that shaft there. So I like to keep things a little bit, a little gap between each thing so you can tell them apart. Let's do the same thing again. We'll go tweak components and I'll grab the nut and I'm going to hold shift and I'm going to grab that there as well, that washer. Now I can let go of shift and drag the nut and the washer out. A little bit of a gap between the two. Press enter. And another one, tweak components. Let's get the nut and drag that just past the edge of the washer there like that. And now we'll get this keyway and we'll just drag this up like straight up like this, just so it's a hit, got a bit of a gap from the shaft there. So that's the view we want. So let's take a snapshot view. And that's picked up our view here. See, it's a bit out of center, so I'll do a new one. So that's centered there. Let's go save as, and we'll save our IPN. Now we can close out of this one. Now we want to go to a new drawing file. And all I want to do for this is just have the exploded view labeled and a parts list. So I don't want individual part drawings, just the exploded view here. So let's go to base and find our IPN that we were just working on, this one here. Open that up. We can just drag this corner, make it a bit bigger, too big. So 1 to 1, we could probably make it a little bit bigger than 1 to 1, so let's go 1.5. That's making good use of the page. Make sure we've got our solid shaded here, hidden line removed. Make sure our tangent edges are on and our thread feature is on. Go OK. So there's our nice exploded view there. Let's drop in a parts list. So we'll go up to annotate, parts list, click on that view, then we'll just go OK. Drop that in there. We just need the balloons now, so let's go auto balloon, this view, let's drag and drop over all the parts, select placement. So we've got a few options. You can go like up here, you can go around, and they can be all around the show. Vertical, yeah. So let's go around, why not? And just move the mouse around till they kind of spread out nicely. You can see it's kind of a bit funny where it places them, but that's okay. And we'll go, just hit apply there. So all I'm going to do is just tidy this up. So it usually puts these balloons right on the edges of things, which I don't really like sometimes. It's a bit hard to tell what it's pointing at when there's a lot of things going on. So I just grab the end and put it in a better position so it's not crossing over anything. It's not touching any of the wrong things that it doesn't need to be. So we can use edges here, it's fine. If you're finding that it's pointing to the edge of something and it's not quite what you want, you can just drop it on the top of the part like that. And then you see it changes from an arrow to a dot, which is fine. So that's good enough for the view there. Let's just fill out the title block. It's 1.5 to 1. Material, we'll just leave that because it varies. Part, it's the pulley assembly. And we can save that now. So save as. Pulley assembly. And we'll go to export to it PDF. So file export PDF here. And the name should stay if you've saved the drawing. Let's come in here and have a look at what we've got. So for this exercise, I need all of these files. So I need them because I'm going to come in and I'm just going to open this up. I'm going to make sure you've joined everything together properly. And then I can make sure you've presented it properly. So that's all for that one.